Oh, here we go.
If tomorrow all the things were gone, I'd worked for all my life, and I had to start again with just my children and my wife. Thank my lucky stars to be living here today, 'cause our flag still stands for freedom, and they can't take that away. And I'm proud to be an American, where at least I know I'm free.
This song is like a perfect artifact for like a specific like American moment, you know, not like it's America at its like most egregious.
God bless the USA.
This song was written and released in 1984, which is the Reagan's re-election year, which is like, you know, the height of mourning in America, that reframing. And Greenwood's own account is that he wrote it after touring coast to coast and like deciding there was something about America that hadn't been heard, which is just so ridiculous. And then this song, it's manufactured to fill a perceived affect gap in the Reagan-era nationalist project, and then attached to itself every subsequent mobilization, like 1991 Gulf War, post 9/11, and now this, you know, Semiquincentennial, one product, you know, 4 decades of deployment across each major flashpoint of American power projection. And that's not by mistake, right? Like, that's a functioning piece of civic religious infrastructure. And having Lee Greenwood is the tell on which this, you know, he's not the Smashing Pumpkins, you know, he's headlining this Trump rally at the Lincoln Memorial, alongside what is a tenor of military bands. After there was a lineup for this show that just collapsed, a whole bunch that withdrew because they cited that there was too much partisanship. So there's like this celebration split, where that's why like the biggest one that we saw, or I wasn't on yet, but in Massachusetts, it was huge, way bigger than this. This is fucking fucked up. But here we go, Trump's coming.
47th President of the United States of America, President Donald J. Trump.
Oh, that's the USA. Notice the triumphal arc with the 110 foot Ferris wheel. That's or like the arch. The Masonic arch is telling. Look at that. Masonic arch.
Good evening, America. If you think that was easy, it wasn't. And I want to thank everybody because they did the right thing. They saw lightning, and I said, there's no way if we have to speak in front of one person at 4 o'clock in the morning, I'm going to be here. There's no way we can be deterred.
Yeah.
And they estimated they had 375,000 people before everybody had to leave. And they now have 150,000 people. It's the craziest thing anyone's ever seen. At least.
The other 175,000 people have been shot.
About some people
for leaving.
They couldn't get back. But you're very special.
We've put them all in internment camps.
Much.
Tonight
we come together for one of the most joyous and glorious milestones of all time, and you know what that is, 250, the 250th anniversary. And I do have to say this. One of my very brilliant people backstage said, "Don't worry about it, sir. We can do it maybe next week." I said, "It doesn't work next week. This is the big day. We want July 4th. We're not looking for July something else. Because this is the 250th anniversary of the Declaration of Independence. Nothing like it. For 2.5 centuries, our American republic has stood as the crowning achievement of human history. This country is the home of freedom. This is the land of liberty. And this is a flag that's the banner of the most extraordinary, most exceptional, most incredible nation ever to exist on the face of the earth. And we're doing better now than we've ever done before. No people have done more good, shown more courage, made more progress, righted more injustice, or achieved more greatness than you, the American people. For 250 years, the United States of America has been the hope, the promise, the light, and the glory among all of the nations of the world. All over the world, they try and be like us. Nobody can be like us. And with God's help, we will always be this or even better. We're going to be better. Here on our National Mall, we're celebrating freedom's triumph over tyranny, liberty's conquest over oppression, and the enduring victory of the American spirit from the July 4th, 1776 to July 4th, 2026. Big dates. That's big dates. Two big ones. And tonight our country is stronger, freer, richer, safer, and prouder than ever before. But it all started with the miracle of history that lives forever in the heart of every single patriot. In Philadelphia, our founding fathers summoned the courage of giants and the wisdom of centuries to boldly proclaim these timeless truths. They declared that all men are created equal.
That's right.
That they are endowed with sacred, unalienable rights by the hand of our Creator. And that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. In signing their names to the roster of freedom, those 56 patriots put everything at risk, stepped onto the stage of destiny, and seized a victory for the ages, and that's what it was. And this is an evening for the ages, I believe. This is something very special. This is bigger than if we didn't have the lightning blaring. We had lightning blaring, but this is bigger. Little more inconvenient, but it's bigger. I think in its own way, it's more beautiful. From the beginning, we were a nation that lived by the motto, victory or death, and live free or die. 1 out of every 100 Americans gave their lives in the fight for independence to remind us of who these heroes were and what they gave us. We are honored to have here tonight in the heart of our nation's capital one of the very first American flags ever to exist. Dating back to 1777, it bears the 13 stars and 13 stripes of the 13 states that declared independence on the 4th of July. There it is. This was the flag that flew victorious at Saratoga. And these are the real deals, too. These are the real flags. These are flags that have seen a lot. These were the stars and stripes that flew triumphant when the British waved the white flag of surrender at Yorktown. That was a big surrender. Nobody thought that was possible. They were the greatest power of the world, and they surrendered, and that was the beginning. Ever since, the entire world has been on notice that Americans will never let anyone take our freedom away. Won't happen. And all these talks from the communists, they haven't got a chance. Not even a chance. We don't want communists in our country.
Look at him grinding his jaw.
Never worked, and it never will work. Americans must never forget that we are a historic and heroic people with a heroic spirit and a heroic purpose on this beautiful earth of ours. We are made the courage and the fire and the flesh and the blood of the best and the bravest people this world has ever produced. We are the bravest and the best. Tonight we pledge allegiance to the flag they gave us, and we say, God bless the immortal patriots of 1776, and long live the cause of independence. May it reign forever and ever and ever. We will always be on top. We will never let our country fall. We will always be the best. Our founders not only won our liberty, they secured it with the most righteous political document ever conceived. It's called the Constitution of the United States. Very special. And it's because of their genius that we remain the finest people on the planet after 250 years. Unlike so many others in the world, in this country we have freedom of speech, freedom of religion, equal justice under the law, although I wasn't treated that well, but we won't get into that. And the right to keep and bear arms. And for the almost 6 years that I was president, I guarded very, very powerfully your Second Amendment, and they didn't do a thing to it, and it was not easy. But we guard your Second Amendment. We guard it very, very strongly and cautiously. Across the generations, Americans have fought, bled, and died, not just to secure those rights, but to expand them to citizens of every race, religion, color, and creed, because we are one people. We are one family. You showed that tonight with one flag.
Grinding his jaw.
And as our Declaration of Independence tells us, we are all made in the image of one Almighty God. And a communist will never say that. That's for sure. Few heroes remind us of these truths more than William Carney, who escaped slavery to become a Union soldier in the Civil War, which was a very big deal at the time. On the front lines of battle, he saw a comrade struck down by enemy fire while carrying the stars and stripes, and Sergeant Carney dove to the ground to keep the flag from touching the mud. He didn't want to have it touch the ground. He didn't want to have it touch the mud. He wanted it to be perfect. He raised it high above the field and was shot 4 times. They thought he was gone, but he kept moving forward. He loved our country. He loved our flag. Before he returned to camp and announced, "Boys, the old flag never touched the ground." And he became the first African-American to receive the Congressional Medal of Honor. He got the Congressional Medal of Honor, and he was the first African-American, and he was some man. They've written stories about him. He was something special.
I never read them.
With us tonight to celebrate this Forward March of Freedom is another Medal of Honor recipient. Colonel Paris Davis, whose courage won eternal glory in Vietnam. He helped lead a surprise attack on 100 enemy combatants. They said he was finished. His whole group was finished. And despite multiple life-threatening wounds, saved the lives of his fellow soldiers. And this evening he stands to salute the only flag of its kind, the one that was draped over the casket of President Abraham Lincoln in Independence Hall. Thank you very much. Great.
Burn. Burn it.
He looks better than I do. He looks great, and he's brave. Because of heroes like these, our flag will always be a symbol of liberty and justice for all. Colonel Davis, thank you very much. Great man. Great man, thank you. Americans expanded the blessings of freedom, and we have never stopped expanding our ambitions and our dreams. We had the American dream. We never had the American dream, however, like we have it right now. The American dream is back, very strong, beautiful. You know, to get into our military now is tough. 2 years ago, we couldn't fill a job, and now it's overflowing. We have so many, setting records. We're setting records. It's actually hard to get in. That includes our great police forces and our firemen.
That's something to brag about.
They couldn't hire anybody. Nobody wanted to do it. Now it's hard to get those positions, but it's really hard to get into our military because people respect and love our country again. Our rise to being the world's strongest and most powerful nation was no accident of history. We rebuilt our military in my first term. We use it a little bit in our, actually I should say third term, but I won't do that because I don't want any controversy. But we use it, and we've had tremendous success. You look at Venezuela, you look at Iran, we wiped out their military. Americans crossed the Great Plains, scaled the Rockies, we just tamed the wilderness and conquered the frontier and built the empire. It's called the Empire of Liberty. We laid down the railroads, raised up the skyscrapers, those beautiful skyscrapers, and dug out the Panama Canal, considered the 8th wonder of the world, which everyone said was an impossible thing to do. And by the way, 38,000 Americans died to give us one of the greatest engineering feats of all time, the Panama Canal. This was the unstoppable spirit that created the world's most powerful industries and built the strongest military anyone had ever seen. And today it is stronger and more powerful than it ever was before. American grit, boldness, and daring forged heroes like Davy Crockett, Wyatt Earp, Annie Oakley, Teddy Roosevelt, and the legend of the Wild West, Buffalo Bill Cody. These were great, powerful people whose incredible grandchildren happen to be with us tonight.
Oh, my God.
And they stand alongside one of the first American flags ever to fly over our expanding nation. It was carried west just as Lewis and Clark began their journey in 1803. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you very much. Great to have you. Great to have you, to honor this audacious and indomitable soul of America. We also have the first flag ever to fly over one of the greatest architectural feats of all time, a thing called the Brooklyn Bridge, one of the most beautiful bridges anywhere in the world, built a long time ago. To its right, the banner that flew atop our flagship after America's Navy sank the Spanish fleet to the bottom of the Manila Bay, one of the greatest naval victories in history. Much like our recent victory by sinking the entire Iranian Navy, 159 ships, to the bottom of the sea, all done in just a moment's time. Happened very quickly.
Yeah,
we have the greatest military anywhere in the
you
world.
Fucking clown.
And next to it, we also have the flag that was given to that immortal, just a fantastic, immortal Rough Rider, the one and only. And I was at the museum the other day at its opening. Theodore Roosevelt, when he returned triumphant from Cuba, printed with the words, "Welcome home, Colonel Roosevelt." He was a victor of San Juan Hill. He was a great gentleman. Americans won the West and built the modern world because America is a nation of winners. And today our country is winning again, and we're winning like never before. America is back, and we want to keep America great, and we will do so by approving the Save America Act, which means all voters must show voter ID. All voters all voters must provide a little thing called proof of citizenship. And there will be no mail-in ballots except for illness, disability, military deployment, or travel. And you won't have cheating on the elections anymore. It's very simple. Together, we are also reasserting the truth that American strength and power is not something to be ashamed of. It is something that we are very, very proud of. This country has been the greatest force for peace and justice on earth. In the last century, we defeated tyrants, demolished evil, and saved freedom again and again and again. Ken Schubring was 19 years old when he survived the Japanese attack on Pearl Harbor. After enemy planes sank ships like the USS Arizona, he resolved that he would help America strike back and win. He wanted them to strike back and win. Flying B-29s in the Pacific, Ken fought from the first day to the very last. He was in the war right from the first day, and he went to the last day and all the way to the enemy's unconditional surrender. We got an unconditional surrender. He was there at 104 years old and looking really good. Captain Schubring is here tonight, and he is saluting the flag that went down with the Arizona at Pearl Harbor, but was raised back up with the help of some unbelievable American patriots. It's a symbol of American defiance. Please.
They just wheel this guy around everywhere. He's at Tampa Bay Lightning games. Fucking, I can't remember where else I saw him. He's everywhere.
Thank you, Captain.
Oh, he's at the UFC thing.
Thank you, Captain. Great job. Thank you very much.
Get him out of
You
here.
have very good genes. That's his son. His son's going to be around a long time. Thank you very much, Captain. On D-Day in World War II, Navy Lieutenant Arthur Rose commanded 36 landing craft as part of the largest naval armada in history. Recalling that sight, he wrote home to his parents, "What a country we are." At 107 years old, Lieutenant Rose is here to salute one of our nation's most prized possessions, the flag that flew aboard the first landing craft on D-Day and led the first Americans onto the beaches of Normandy to liberate Europe and defeat Nazi fascism forever. Lieutenant Rose, you are an inspiration to this beautiful crowd, and we thank you very much. Amazing man. 107. It's 107. On Iwo Jima in the Pacific, the Marines faced some of the most brutal combat in the history of warfare. They shed their blood for every inch of mountain that they reached. And when they reached the summit and raised the stars and stripes for all to see, it was so special.
Good point. It's family abuse and elderly abuse. Absolutely.
It wasn't supposed to happen. With us today is one of the last survivors of that battle, 101-year-old Marine Corporal Don Graves. And he's here to salute that famous flag he saw rise in the glory of Iwo Jima 81 years ago, and you've all seen that flag many times. So, ladies and gentlemen, these are the fighters and the banners of the greatest generation. They are the greatest generation. I hate to admit that, but they are. They saved the world, and they made America very, very proud. We're very proud of you, heroes all. And after we vanquished fascism, Americans stood against the evil of communism in the Cold War. And as I said last night at the beautiful Mount Rushmore, what a beautiful place, where Washington, Jefferson, Lincoln, and Theodore Roosevelt loomed over my shoulder as I spoke. America will never be a communist country. Won't happen. Communism is a loser, and it always will be. The communist system is the opposite of the American system, and the communist system has never worked.
Well, at least he said one thing there, is that the communist system is the opposite of the American system. That's true. Nothing else is true. It's funny how, like, Mondani has just got him obsessed with this, and now he's eating it up because everybody else is eating it up.
Immediately and before it begins, it's like a cancer. You got to cut it out. You got to cut it out fast. Tonight, we proudly thank veterans of the war on communism, including Marine Corporal Pat Finn and Private First Class Rudy Meekins, who fought at the famed Battle of Chosin Reservoir in Korea. That was a rough one. Thank you. Pat fought in hand-to-hand combat with the enemy. He had 5 against him, and he was 1. And as you can see, he's around to talk about it. And Rudy was wounded 4 times, but never stopped shooting, and he never stopped moving forward. And also with us is veteran Sonny Ray, who fought heroically against an enemy force 10 times his unit size and earned a tremendously deserved Silver Star. Tonight they salute one of the very first 50-star flags to fly above the field of battle. This was about the beginning of the 50. And right next to it is one of the last flags from checkpoint.
Well, I mean, that's bound to happen. That's what needs to happen. That's what basically needs to happen, as far as, like, for people to actually realize what the fuck they're up against. Because otherwise, you're just going to have, you know, social democrats voting in city councilors and fucking ex-military veterans that are claiming to be progressives and calling that socialism. Well, this guy's fucking hunting down communists and people who claim to be communists. And, yeah. It's, yeah.
Very well.
It is concerning, but at the same time, like, he's just saying it to get political points, to be completely honest.
How about that, huh? Isn't that great? What an honor it is to be with them. Think of it, 107. That's up there, but hopefully he's got 20 good years left.
That's up there.
Through the generations, Americans have never stopped striving to lift humanity to new heights. In 1903, the Wright brothers from Ohio fulfilled the age-old dream of mankind to fly. That's right, they're from Ohio, great state. And within 66 years of inventing the airplane, Americans planted our flag on the moon. Just 3 months ago, we sent American astronauts back to the far side of the moon, and this time they flew further from Earth than anyone has ever flown before. And here they are.
We wheeled them out, too.
So tonight we're joined by that crew of NASA Artemis, you know the crew, everybody.
There's one Canadian. What the fuck is that guy doing there?
Everybody watch. I was watching. I don't know what it was. That one got the attention of everybody. And along with the last man to walk on the moon, Apollo 17 astronaut Jack Schmitt. Thank you, Jack. You look like you could be with them, Jack. You look very good. You look very good, Jack. Thank you very much. What a job. Everybody was watching. I was with a group of people that normally wouldn't be watching, and we're having a big dinner, and they all said, we want to turn on, we want to watch Artemis 2. A lot of people said, what is that? By the end of the evening, they knew. It was amazing. And along with Jared, where's Jared? He's so great. He's running NASA. What a job he's done. So I want to thank you all. Thank you very much. Great job. So these champions of flight stand this evening beside the flag flown on the Wright brothers airplane, piloted by Orville Wright. It's the exact flag, very historic, and they are honored to be here. They told me today they were really amazed to be here with that flag. That's a very special flag if you're in the world of flying aircraft. So congratulations to everybody. Fantastic job. Very proud of you. And I have a special gift for these patriots. This morning on America's 250th birthday, a new flag was flown above the United States Capitol. And tonight I present it to you to soon be planted by American astronauts on their upcoming return to the moon. And in addition to that, I gave them and all of the great heroes that you saw up on stage tonight and a few others that couldn't quite make the stage, I gave them a very special medal from the White House, so it's an honor. Thank you very much, everybody. Appreciate it. So then I assume you're going to be heading to Mars, right? We're going to be going to Mars very soon. And I think that's something that we do have in mind, and we're going to do the moon, and we're going to go from there. We're going to go to Mars, and we're going to continue to be way ahead. You know, we did Space Force. That was something I was very proud of, and some people smiled. They thought it was foolish, and now they're finding it's one of the most important things that we've done. We were losing to China and to Russia in space, and now we're leading them by giant.
Talking about Space Force.
That really, like you, that made it happen. Thank you very much, everybody. Thank you very much, Jeff. So as we celebrate America's unmatched achievements and unlimited potential, we never forget that none of this would have been possible without those who gave everything so that we could reach this 250th year of freedom. We are honored to be joined by 11 Gold Star family members. The Gold Star family, that is one of the great tributes. It's one of the great honors, a tough honor. There's nothing tougher than that. But these are amazing people. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Come on up. They went through a lot.
You don't even say what it's
Thank
for.
you very much. And that special person is looking up there and looking down at mom and dad, husband, wife, but they're looking down with great pride. You know that. You know that. And we want to thank you for being
Looking
here.
up.
Thank you very much. And we have medals for you backstage. I brought them. I thought I'd be handing them out about 2 hours ago, 3 hours ago. But we're going to be backstage, and we have beautiful medals for you, for your family, from the White House. Thank you very much, everybody. We love you.
Everybody get off the stage, please.
On this special 4th of July, we give you our undying gratitude and promise to redeem the sacrifice of your heroes by preserving the America that they loved. They loved our country. They sacrificed it all. And these people have sacrificed it all. They've been through hell. We love you. Thank you very much. Thank you. From 1776 to today, everywhere the American flag has flown, it has been a symbol of strength, righteousness, and hope, because that is who Americans are. In 1944, a mother and her daughter huddled in their house in Nazi-occupied Belgium and prayed desperately for their country to be freed. They wanted freed. As they waited, they found scraps of fabric and stitched together a homemade American flag. It's beautiful, but homemade. On the day they were finally liberated, and that's what the word is, liberated, they gave it to an American soldier as a gift. Little did they know that that soldier's great-grandfather was none other than the author of our Star-Spangled Banner, Francis Scott Key. And tonight, the next generation of the Key family is with us. Thank you very much. Please. Thank you. Major Kyle Key has spent 23 years in the U.S. Army.
Of course.
Highly respected. And this evening, he proudly salutes the old flag that was made by the Belgian woman so beautifully, and who knew that America means hope and freedom. Congratulations, and thank you for being here very much.
I'm pretty sure that's actually not true. The lyrics were written by Francis Scott Key in 1814 during the British bombardment of Fort McHenry. And he's saying, he said that the person who gave him the flag, or the person who got the flag, was a relative of Francis Scott Key.
To the magnificent sand dunes at Kitty Hawk, from the glimmering skyline of Manhattan to the far side of the moon, you just saw that, and from the now safe and beautiful capital of Washington. Think of it, Washington, D.C., our capital.
Think of it.
Our capital is now safe, gleaming, and beautiful again. It's safe again. Went from a very unsafe place 2 years ago to one of the safest cities in the country, and one of the most beautiful. To the gleaming waters of the Gulf of America. There is no challenge Americans cannot overcome. There is no place we cannot go. There is no goal we cannot reach, and there is nothing that Americans cannot do, and we're proving that right now. Our stock market is the strongest it's ever been. We have $19.2 trillion being invested in our country, which is 6 times more than ever happened before. We're building more factories in the United States than ever before. Everyone's 401ks are at the highest number they've ever been. And more people are working today in the United States than any time in the history of our country. But in this country, we can achieve the wildest and most impossible dreams. And no dream in history is bigger or more incredible than the one that started on July 4th, 1776. The war for independence was launched by Minutemen, farmers, blacksmiths, tradesmen, who took up their muskets against the mightiest army on earth, the most powerful army, an unbeatable army, until they met us. No one made them do it. They fought because they knew that a free people must have a free country. Over 250 years, the world has seen the great empires, vast kingdoms, mighty nations, and terrible tyrants. They came and they went. But after 2.5 centuries, this American republic still stands tall and strong, and we love each other. That showed tonight. You heard it was over, and what happened? You came back. And this American flag still waves proud and free and beautiful. We have thrived and flourished because our founders were great. Our cause was just, our people are brave, our culture is exceptional, and our destiny is written by God. And as we can see here tonight, after 250 years, the spirit of 1776 still lives within us all. It still roars in the hearts of our nation's capital. It still burns in the heart of every patriot, thunders through every city and town, and it still lights the entire world with the glow of American liberty. And there is nothing like that. At 250 years old, we may be the oldest constitutional republic on earth, but our country is just getting started because the best is yet to come.
Obviously, sending out a link.
This is only the dawn of the golden age of America.
The golden age.
And on this 250th 4th of July, we declare, just as they did 2.5 centuries ago, that for our country and for our children and for the cause of liberty, we are going to take our country to new levels, to levels not reached. We're going to make it bigger, better, stronger, and we're going to love it even more. And I just want to thank you, and the inconvenience of lightning can do that, but lightning will never stop you. And I want to thank everybody, and we love you all, and it's an honor to be your president. Thank you. God bless you all.
Nation.
God bless you all. Thank you.
And that's President Trump concluding a almost 40-minute speech, certainly delayed a couple of hours.
Fireworks display tonight.
Thanks to some bad storms moving through here. There were a lot of incredibly moving parts of this presentation, Boris. The veterans who fought for America's freedom, from the World War II, Greatest Generation, Vietnam, Korea. We saw some remarkable artifacts in the flags, starting with one that flew in 1777, the year after the Declaration of Independence, one that was on Lincoln's casket, and several others, including one that was taken from Pearl Harbor. Again, a lot of moving, I think you would say, more traditional parts of this speech. But it also is important to note that there were some very blatantly partisan parts of this speech, including the president calling for this legislation that he calls the Save America Act, which is a voting law that he wants passed. The votes are not there for it. And he said the part of that piece of legislation that he picked out was it has to be American citizens only who vote. American citizens are the only ones allowed to vote currently. That is the current law. And Boris, the other thing that really stuck out to me is he couldn't help himself saying that this really should be his third term. And he said, I don't want to say anything because it'll be controversial. But he wanted to say that.
He also had a brief line about his prosecutions, alluding to his time out of office and the many charges that he faced and investigations that he faced, though he paused very quickly and said, I don't want to get into that. He did touch on defending the Second Amendment, as well as... Which
got the biggest applause line.
It did. He also spoke about communism, saying we don't want communists in our country. They'll never win. Communism... communism is reared its ugly head at home, he said. It's like a cancer. You have to rip it out. Aside from that, as you noted, a nonpartisan speech, other than those moments. One that he talked about, the United States is never being deterred despite difficulties, frequently alluding to the weather challenges that many in the crowd faced, having to leave and come back. He talked about this republic being the crowning achievement of human history, saying Americans will never let anyone take our freedom away. We are one people, one family, and ending on a positive note for the future, saying the best is yet to come. Again, as you said, perhaps some of the most moving moments, seeing those veterans up on the stage, the crew of Artemis II as well, and the Gold Star families as well. The president saying that the original plan was to hand them medals, but unfortunately, because of the weather, he will hand them medals in the back of the stage.
And again, I just want to emphasize, and we're going to listen a little bit in, and we're preparing for this spectacular fireworks show. We've become accustomed to partisanship being injected into big moments like this from this president. It is not typical. It is not usual. It is not, frankly, normal to hear that. I was listening to Gerald Ford, a Republican. I listened to the entire speech that he gave in 1976. It was quite different from that.
First of all, who fucking cares? Second of all, like, what do you expect? You're CNN. You're the one you've also made this a partisan thing. You're not free of any of that. Like, you feed off that shit. Yeah. Drop the bomb. Drop the bomb. Do it. Let's see what France is saying.
Tell us more about what he had to say.
Well, a significantly delayed speech by Donald Trump. We've had a lot of storms passing through D.C. on July 4th evening. That meant that Donald Trump's speech was pushed back starting around 11 p.m. local time, significantly later than was planned, and therefore a shortened speech by the president. But nevertheless, just shy of 40 minutes he was on the stage, and he mostly stuck to his teleprompted remarks, but did deviate a few times, mostly to dabble in a list of grievances and the many of the things that we've heard him say in the past. He, however, also mentioned his new favorite buzzword, communism. That has clearly been the word from the White House, that is something they need to focus on as they now look towards the midterm elections and try to shift focus away from the war in Iran, which has tanked Republican approval ratings in the course of the last couple of months. Donald Trump now focusing on what he sees as communism in America. That is already taking root with his grassroots supporters. One lady today was, my colleague overheard one lady saying that she wasn't afraid of the storms that were rolling through D.C., but she was afraid of communism, and that's why she didn't want to leave the National Mall. Donald Trump, in those remarks, said, "We remain the finest people on the planet after 250 years. Unlike so many others in the world, in this country, we have freedom of speech, freedom of religion, equal justice under the law." But then he quickly went off those remarks, saying, although I wasn't treated that well, but we won't go into that. So you get some kind of idea there from those kind of remarks, the kind of things that Donald Trump would ad-lib during the course of this speech. It was meant to be a speech that would unite America on his 250th birthday, but of course those kind of off-prepared remarks have kind of put a bit of a dampener on that aspect of the speech from Donald Trump here this evening.
And it looks like that rather magnificent fireworks show has gotten underway there. Those were live pictures that we're seeing. Fraser, these special 250th anniversary July 4th celebrations have been derailed by extreme heat, storms, and national division across the country. Tell us, what's the mood been like? What have you been hearing from people?
It's been a real roller coaster day, really. The heat this morning was really quite stifling. It was 46 degrees Celsius when you take into account the humidity and the heat index here in the eastern part of the United States, in DC in particular. It's been cancelled on the mall because of fears of overheating and excessive heat as well. So the parade that we normally see at 10 a.m., that was cancelled. The Great State Fair opened but slightly later. The mall celebration celebrations where Donald Trump was, the Salute to America, that was meant to open at 1 p.m. It got pushed back to 5 p.m. yesterday, and then ultimately that also got rained off because of the storm, which it appears is once again upon us. But nevertheless, people were in a jubilant mood, people wearing their patriotic T-shirts, people walking around the area wearing their different, a whole array of hats, some including the MAGA hats, the Make America Great Again hats. But that did take a bit of a turn once we found out that things were going to be somewhat partially suspended or at least pushed back. There was a lot of uncertainty at that time as to whether anything would happen, and there was a lot of people who actually left the area believing that the festivities were not going to continue. Donald Trump says it was about 150,000 people who were still there for them all. I will say from pictures that I've seen from my colleagues in the pool cameras, it looks like it's not as high as that, but it is certainly true that a lot of people did tend to leave. Just outside of my building, there was at least 5 coachloads of people, just anecdotally, that I saw leave because of the weather. So it has impacted the celebrations here. But now we see the fireworks going off. They are taking place just out of sight of my camera over there, but not able for you guys to see. But there is a significant amount of fireworks going off on the National Mall now. It's something DC is trying to set the record for. 850,000 fireworks now going off here in Washington, D.C. To give you some kind of idea of the scale, most July 4th celebrations here in D.C. have about 20,000 fireworks. So a significant jump there, but of course also a significant birthday, America's 250th.
Well, Fraser, we will let you go enjoy that fireworks show. We're seeing some live pictures as well. Very beautiful. Thank you so much, as always, for your updates. That's our Washington correspondent, Fraser Jackson there.
Absolutely perfect for America 250. Look, they wanted to break the world's record. It's hard to imagine that didn't just happen.
That was incredible. I hope they broke it. I bet we'll find out tomorrow. It looked like they did.
It definitely did. That was just absolutely amazing. And guess what? It's not over yet. The fireworks are not done. We're going to bring you an amazing show from San Diego after a quick break.
See, it's funny because they're covering the Trump thing reluctantly, but like they're actually wanting to cover like the US 250 statecraft stuff from like what should be the US funded celebrations. But what we saw at the White House was essentially a private celebration that's like for the executive, for the White House. So there's like literally a split in the celebrations, which is hilarious sign of just like a completely failing empire.